It's 12:30. It's Friday. I'm joined by my very special guest, Mr. Jerry Lyons. It can only mean something for the weekend. I need to practice that intro a bit, maybe. I don't know.
More polished. I'd like it more polished.
More polished. It's Friday. It's 12:30. This is your favorite podcast about content and PR. We're joined by the content guru himself, Mr. Jerry Lyons. Give it up for Jerry.
Have you ever thought of a career in hospital radio? I can see you having the sort of 10 to 11, the sort of like midnight slot, 10 to 12 midnight slot.
I once bid on a raffle prize for charity, which was to go on hospital radio for the evening. And I loved it. It was amazing. It's everything. It's everything it should be. And here's a quick shout out to Mrs. Jones in 2C, who's having her hemorrhoids removed tomorrow. Best of luck, Betty. It's all good. All good. Mr. Jerry Lyons, how you doing?
I'm all right. Apart from where I'm sitting, the sun is right there coming into my office. So I've got the blinds, but you can see there's a weird sort of blindy thing.
And the sun shines on the righteous. That's what they say.
Righteous,
yeah. That's what they say. Have you been following the football? Do you know what? I don't even know why I'm asking you. I know you've been following the football because you've been doing these very funny Facebook posts where you make predictions, Nostradamus.
My predictions are pretty good.
They're pretty damn accurate. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And in fairness, there's some people that really cannot. Sean Adams, basically, he's called me out and said anyone can make predictions in the last 2 minutes of the game. Not anyone can, not everyone. It's a bit of a
Jerry Lyons can. That's for sure. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about football today. I think it's been a very different World Cup. You've got teams that traditionally, I mean, you had the two old World War allies fight each other last week. Not the allies, the Axis. You had Japan and Germany, and Japan thrashed them.
I hadn't even made that correlation, that connection.
And you know what? So many young people don't understand the history there. But it's an interesting pairing. But I think there's some very interesting results there where teams that you wouldn't assume, Canada, for instance, you would not assume these are particularly strong teams, suddenly come out and start playing well. But what was interesting to me was, did you see Jack Grealish when he scored his goal? He did this sort of, I can't even do it, but he did that. And he did that for one of his fans, didn't he? So there's a boy who I think visited him and wrote to him back here at home in Manchester. And he basically said, next time I score a goal, I'm going to do that for you. And he did it. And I think he's become a bit of he's become a little media frenzy on his own this week. Yeah. But isn't that just like the best version of our kind of sporting heroes and how they should?
Yeah. I mean, Jack Grealish has had his critics about some of his off the field behaviour, but with that sort of expansive personality, you're going to get things like this. So like some of the questionable stuff he did. He's a young man. He's a multi-millionaire. He's a good-looking kid. He's got more. It makes
but for the grace of God goes either of us, Jerry. I mean, with our dashing good looks and your hair.
But by all accounts, he is a really nice fella, Jack Grealish. So that didn't surprise me, and fair play to him. And I know because I did a bit of sports journalism when I was younger, and I know a lot of footballers are really nice working class kids, right? You know what the problem is with a lot of the media coverage? Jealous middle class reporters.
Yeah,
because they cannot handle that. Jack Grealish was asked a question, and somebody said he's got Jack, we hear you have an encyclopedic knowledge of football, and he went, "What does that mean?" And he didn't know what encyclopedia meant, so everyone went, "Oh, look, a thick footballer on certain forums and this sort of stuff, can they dip a ball or ping a ball 30 yards and drop it into a bin? Probably not. So because everyone's got different skills, David, that's the point I'm trying to make.
I think
Somebody who's good at valuations might be shit at sales progression.
I agree. And do you know what? I don't think we can all be judged on the same playing field. I think the Eric Cantonars of this world, where they happen to have a bit of footballing flair, but also are philosophers, very few and far between. It's not necessarily a part of the job. But what I wanted to talk to you about today was celebrations, because when you score a goal, you want to sort of run around the pitch and sort of show off. And today is Negotiator Award Conference, right? I'm not actually sure who's going to be there during the day because it's very badly timed with a bit of train strikes, and you've got the football on today. I think Wales are playing this morning, are they not?
Yeah. 10 o'clock to 12. I've got a meeting for those 2 hours, funnily enough.
It's very, very funny that. And then later on in the day, I think you've got England again, haven't you? Versus
that's
USA.
7 o'clock kickoff. So by then, most estate agents will be half drunk.
Well, so this is it. We're going to see social media flooded later on tonight with lots of celebrations. We've only gone and done it.
Don't say that. Yeah, oh, for God's
sake. We've only gone and done it.
That. We've only gone and done it. Don't say, because 99% of people are not thinking, I wonder if they're only going to go and do it. No one cares.
Well, can we then stop it there? And I'm up for an award tonight as well, right? I think Personality of the Year award. Outstanding contribution to a state agency in the industry.
Really? This is not
Housewife's Choice 2022. No, of course not, you daft. No, but I am there tonight. I'm going to be traveling down there shortly. And if my old outfit pick up an award, I'm to go up on stage and lift the cup for them. And I guess there is that the temptation, isn't it, to sort of go on social media and start bragging about the award and so on. So I want Jerry Lyons' top 5 tips for accepting an award with grace and dignity.
I'm really glad you asked that question, because I saw somebody post about a previous award win, and one of their staff absolutely cocked the photo opportunity up because they did something really bloody stupid. I'd probably sack someone for that. Like, they did something, like a real idiotic pose, but that was obviously the only official photographs of them going up. So go up, smile. Don't try and be clever. If someone's too drunk to go up, leave them at the table. So this is the first port calls. If you do get called up on stage, don't put a silly face at the photo, because that's probably the best photo you're going to get. One of your team might be taking a picture of you miles away on a phone. They're half pissed, right? Leave it to the professional photographers. So go up, accept the award, stand next to who's doing the awards at the Negs?
Tonight, I think it's Stephen Mangan. Isn't he?
Okay, so he's half famous. A lot of people get him mixed up with Jonathan Davis, fella, or whatever.
He's not been on the telly for a while, but whatever. No. He presents awards now on a Friday night.
He's no Jack Grealish when it comes to celebrity now, is he? Now, so that's the photo. Nice and simple, straightforward. Where people do get it wrong, and I'm so glad you picked it. This is why we get on, because you think a bit like me in certain things. Don't say we've only gone and done it, because that's so hackneyed and cliched. Say, we're delighted. It's a bit of a cliche itself, but just all say thank you to everyone who made this a possibility. Just say that, because you're saying, right, thank you to everyone who's helped us with best estate agent in the Northwest, like you guys did. Was it last year, Normie and Co?
Yeah, it was last year. We actually won best estate agent. It always makes me chuckle. Best regional agency, Northwest and Northeast. Now, bearing in mind that Newcastle, Northeast, Northwest, Manchester are very far apart. I mean, we're talking about literal opposite sides of the country.
Yeah.
And yet I've got an award that belongs to somebody in Newcastle, I'm sure. So it's a bit of a shame, but yeah, that's the
because
award.
most of the judges are from the south and haven't got an effing clue.
That's
No,
true. That's true.
I'm only
Everything
joking,
north of
judges.
the
You're
Watford
all
Gap
very
is
nice people.
Manchester.
Yeah, it's like, oh, where's that? Because yeah, people think Manchester and Newcastle, they're up north. If you're a southerner, they're up north. They must be next door to each other because everywhere is. Anyway, so we've got that. The photo, be nice and sensible. The thank you. Start with thank you, because like it's better than saying, "Oh, we've won it again, we've done it again." And what I would say is as well, the timing. If you're half drunk at the award ceremony, probably the tone of your post won't be that great because you're half drunk. You might be a bit over adrenalized, over alkalized. So it's maybe worth doing it the following day. Then, of course, once you've won, you've got the news release aspect. And I think with the Negs, to be fair to them, they give you a press release that you can send out. Adapt that because you want to put your spin on it.
Well, that's very sensible so far.
Yeah.
So I'm not going up doing some sort of daft TikTok dance. I ain't twerking on stage whilst picking up my award.
No. It might make somebody chuckle for 10 seconds, but that's your photo opportunity ruined forever.
Forever. Okay, fine. That's very clear. And in terms of the people that we thank, I always feel like it's gracious to thank your team first of all, because not everybody gets to go to the awards, but everybody deserves a slice of that award.
You know,
David, but who do you thank first? Do you thank your team, or do you thank your customers?
I'm a very simple man, right? And people that try and make themselves sound clever are not normally clever. My dad used to say that. Anyone who's using big words probably doesn't understand. And he was right. And Einstein said something similar about if you can't understand, explain it simply, you don't know the subject. So, to answer your question, think of the 3 C's. Yeah, David, what we're going to think of?
We're going to think of the 3 C's, and my mind has gone completely filthy blank. I can only think of one.
So you thank your clients, your colleagues,
yes,
and your community. It's simple. Don't overthink it. This is what annoys me. This is why I'm the Roy Keane of content. I'm not the content king anymore. I'm the Roy Keane of content because everything is starting to annoy me.
That's interesting. So the 3 C's: clients, colleagues, community.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. Easy to do.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So my mum doesn't get a mention then?
As my good friend and esteemed colleague, Chris Watkins, would say, no one cares apart from your mum. So you can ring her afterwards.
Lovely. And is there anything else that we should bear in mind when we're accepting the awards? I mean, is that we could have a whole discussion on whether or not awards are an endorsement of great service or being great people. Depends what awards you're up for. I mean, people are up for community champion awards tonight. Those are great awards actually, because that genuinely, I think there's a very high bar now being set in agency for community champion. If you win that, then I have to say that you're most excellent at what you do. You know what? And it's again, from a press perspective, that's the most interesting one to them. If you go and say you've won the best estate agent in your region, yeah, they're okay, good. But journalists are cynical. They know how the awards games work and how there's every industry will have 10, 15, 20 award bodies. Yeah, every industry. So you'll get, I can remember receiving pub awards, the Indian restaurant awards. That's a whole cartel in itself. It's just huge, but the community one's the one that goes, oh, okay, I'll read this little press release a little bit more. Now the community one, what I would do if I was advising a agency that won a community award, I say, right, you've won it, now have an event to celebrate it, a community event. It could be you just invite local good eggs from the community in to come and see you. Do you know what I mean? So that's important. Jesus, Wendy, I'm on Zoom. Hey, Wendy. I'm really
The right
liking
people like
Wendy's.
Jesus had entered.
I'm really liking Wendy's Christmas tree posts. That
Yeah,
is a woman that
I
is
did until she just opened the door without knocking. That's my.
dedicated to one a gag, and she just won't drop it.
Yeah,
I think she can probably keep it going for another month.
it gets annoying. So sorry to go back to the community one. I do agree that's probably the best one to win from a PR perspective, because I think if you're a local agency that's doing so much for the community, it's your opportunity to say, "Oh, we're really thankful to win this. We thank our clients, we thank our colleagues, and we thank our community." And then you hold an event, get people to your office or somewhere community based, and do something for the community to say thank you.
So I want to talk about two community heroes very quickly before we wrap up today, because I don't want to keep you, because I know you're excited about your 10 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
Two people. One who I think did exactly what you just said and held an event for the community. So locations, Andy Warhol. What's his name? Andy Overman. That's him. From Location Thetford. He celebrated their 2-year anniversary, not just with balloons, but he hired a sort of community hall, I think, and they had a children's entertainer.
Yeah.
And they really sort of made almost like a party of it. For the local community. It was very tastefully done. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't sort of in your face. They're very mindful of that whole cost of living thing, but it was lovely. I mean, at first I saw it and I thought, oh, that's just going a bit over the top. No one can be that nice. But then actually you look at it and you think, in a small community like Thetford, that's got to be really meaningful when the parents can take their kids out on a Sunday and just, give them an hour's entertainment on Andy Overman.
Yeah. And it's a PR masterstroke. But I will say this, Andy's been doing that even when he was working for another, when he wasn't working for himself under the LL banner.
Yes.
He was doing that when he was working for whatever they were called. I can't
Tilton. Yeah.
But because it's in him. That's why I called him Mr. Thetford. And apparently people refer to him as Mr. Thetford. What a great way to be referred to as a local estate agent, that they call you Mr. or Miss or Mrs. Seaford or Newhaven or Thetford or Hackney or Earlham. Mr. I wonder who Mr. Earlham is.
Somebody did actually introduce me to somebody else last week as Mr. Manchester, which you see, you're thinking that's great. In my head, I'm just thinking of, like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was thinking that.
You know how they sort of bronze up and they oil themselves for those photos? I'm thinking of getting one done, Jerry. It'll be very tasteful. Very tasteful.
Where's your part of what? It's not Eccles, is it?
No, we're not Eccles. We are North Manchester, sort of Prestwich, Whitefield, Salford. We've got some good old areas. Bury, that sort of place. But as you get towards Eccles and beyond, and out that way, there is a little part of the world called Cadishead and Earlham, and I know you've been there because I know you visited Oliver James there. Oliver. Calls himself Oliver James these days. I know him as Oliver Press. I've known him since he was yay high. And Ollie is up for. It's funny because we're pretty much in the same neck of the woods. So he's up for all the same awards that Normie are up for this year, and he's also going to be there. And I love Ollie, and actually, I'm also rooting for him. So if he wins it, I think that is a great result because he's a fantastic agent. But really, when it comes to being a community agent, he, in my book, he takes it hands down. I mean, he really puts in the hours. I mean, St Clair is another one of those people. Yeah. In fact, I've got a profound respect for any man that can spend his weekends wearing one of those. I mean, Oliver's got this sort of gecko outfit that he wears. It's from one of the kids' TV shows. I've seen Luke dressed up as all sorts of different things over a weekend. I know he's just about to do his Santa's grotto as well, where he'll be sat there for hours wearing that itchy beard and being nice to people. It takes effort. You don't need to do that to earn money.
Yeah.
You don't. I want to be very clear. You can be a very successful estate agent and no one will give a crap whether or not you were nice to the little kids with the Santa outfit on. But my God, it does change the world a little bit, doesn't it? It just makes it. It makes it.
I actually think I think there's almost a bit of karma at play as well with these agents. Can I give a shout out as well to an agent who's doing something? I think next weekend or the weekend
Yeah.
after. Aaron Kirk, the Property Cloud, Bexley Heath, him and a local microbrewery are having a Santa's Grotto where kids can come for free, get a little gift, get a picture with Santa. Now, and we haven't explicitly talked about it during his press release because I helped him with his press release. It's aimed at people that can't afford the 20 quid, 25 quid Santa's Grotto rip-offs at shopping centres and garden centres. It was aimed at that. And we've not advertised that fact, but he's just done it, him and this microbrewery, because they want to give something back to the community, And I think there's such a thing as karma, and I think it'll work its way back to him as well. And all the other agents and agencies that do this kind of thing. I think it will pay dividends in the long run.
I agree. I think you do. Like I said, you don't need to do it, and you will still earn money if you don't do it. But if you actually walk the walk and talk the talk, and you're not just doing it to grab the occasional headline here and there, and you're consistent and you really sort of mean it, I think it makes all the difference. You also make difference to individuals within your community. And yeah, the world needs a bit of positivity.
Yeah.
There's plenty of negative stuff going on. Just look around you. It doesn't need to be that way this Christmas for a lot of families. If everybody got together and did more stuff like this.
Yeah, a little bit of kindness goes a long way.
Oh, Jerry, I think I'm being overcome with emotion.
Don't get overcome if you do win an award, because people are looking, thinking it's only the next.
I'm going to go up there and do like a 12-minute Matthew McConaughey style sort of rambling monologue of I'd like to thank my God and this and that.
If you get up, do a Ricky Gervais winning the Grammys back when he was quite not well known, and he got up there and he went, peace or war, they're both good, and walked off.
Well, on that wonderful note, what have you got planned for this weekend other than watching football in your 10 o'clock meeting this morning?
Just watching football this weekend, like either watching Charlotte's match on Sunday. Oh, I've got to prepare for a meeting on Monday. I've got an important meeting Monday, and we've got a couple of things.
Do you know what? Talking about Charlotte's match, I read a whole article. Well, I say I read a whole article. I think I read a paragraph and then thought, oh, that's interesting. I'll read the rest of that later. But apparently, in women's sport, injuries are very common because of the type of football boot that is available is not designed for their feet. Their feet are different to ours. Can that be right, Jerry?
Right, it could be the ACL. I think it's called the anterior cruciate ligament. It's a very, very common injury, and it's a serious injury as well with women footballers. But I've heard it said something about training schedules and the menstrual cycle. But the boots, that's very interesting. I'd like to read that article actually, because obviously Charlotte's getting to an age where she's growing and shooting up.
Surely there must be something we can do. Somebody out there must be able to design a boot. Right, this week's homework, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to send in your sketches for the latest boot for Charlotte's team, what's Charlotte's team called?
Crawley Wasps, under 11s.
Crawley Wasps, under 11. There you go. You've got. Are they sort of all yellow and black?
Yeah.
Okay, black and yellow. There you go. We've got it. Stay mellow. I want your designs for a new football boot that is going to revolutionize and level the playing field of women's football.
Women and girls football. Sounds good.
Thank you very much for your time today again, Jerry. I'm wishing you a wonderful weekend. And if there's one tip that you can leave our listeners with, what is it?
If you do win the award, don't muck up the photo opportunity. Don't put a silly face. Just smile. Smile and be gracious.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get the award. I'm going to kiss it and I go, it's for you, Jerry. This is for you.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Point at the thing. Don't do.
I've only gone and done it.
Hold and smile. But don't get me wrong. The photos afterwards at the table, you can do all that shit. Just don't do the stage, because that's the main one. That's the best photo you'll get on the night. Will probably be that one. That'll be the professional one. Yeah. And if you lose, don't worry.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Jerry. Thank you very much for your time. And good luck in your football.